All right, folks, we're going to be starting in just a few moments. Let me say that again. We're going to be starting in just a few moments, folks, so we'll be right with you.
Signals coming from the canyon. I've been searching for my companion for so long. Look out, here comes the dawn. Look to my left, look to my right, searching for something, but something ain't right. This glass and full, it's fucking empty.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. That's right, this is Michael Voss, the Dragon of the Southern Tier. I hope everyone is well, and I am happy to be here with you. I thank you all for being here. You guys make it all worthwhile. I say it every time, and it's because it is true. It is what I feel and what I believe. You are great. So let me start off. The reason why we're on today, obviously we've all heard about Jussie Smollett. In fact, I was talking about it the other day with a great host, a great guest on the program. I was talking to Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie. We were having a conversation about Smollett, and it seems that either because we're two black conservative Republicans talking, or whether it's because we were talking about Smollett, it wound up that Facebook has put a partial ban on us and is censoring us. So, and that's something that I've been talking about a bit. It is something that has me incensed, of course. No one likes being censored, least of all, but for no reason by Facebook, just because I don't know what the reason is. So you can pick your choice there. It's whatever Facebook is doing. But that being said, that's not the reason why we're here today. The reason why we're here today is back on the 19th of February, 2 days ago, there was a story that started circulating a little bit, but it was overshadowed by Jussie Smollett and his hate crime hoax that he was committing. And a lot of people were not paying attention when they heard about this name. It's a very simple name. It's Hoda Muthana. Oh, boy, that last name gets me. It's Muthana. So Hoda Muthana. And you probably don't recognize the name. You're not sure who that may be. She's not a star. She's not someone who's extra special. Who she is this. That's Hoda Muthana. And in the lower corner, you'll see that's, I believe, her husband, or was her husband until he got killed. And if you notice, he's carrying an AK-47 in that picture. For those who are listening to this just on the radio, you'll be able to look this up for yourself. But that's because she was a member of ISIS, and her husband was a member of ISIS from Australia. And they joined ISIS to go and kill Americans, as well as many others that ISIS hates. And so this is a big story, and I want to get this right so you know what's going on. But before I do that, I do want to mention that please stay in touch. Next week, we will be broadcasting from the American Conservative Union when they hold the annual Conservative Political Action Conference of 2019. I will be down there with several of my associates, including the, as I mentioned, Melanie, Money Talk with Melanie. I'll be there with the Exceptional Conservative Show and several others. We'll have the same coverage as Fox, CNN, or any other national news media. We hope that you pay attention to coverage as well. That being said, let's talk about what's going on here. So there is a woman who is by the name of Hoda Muthana. She was born in, well, She was born in the United States. That's not a question. She was born in New Jersey. Is she an American citizen? Not necessarily. See, her father was a diplomat from Yemen, and he left Yemen to come into the United States on official business. He later became a citizen of the United States, and his daughter, Hoda, was born here. So technically, if he was still a diplomat at the time that she was born, then by U.S. law, she is not an American citizen. You cannot be a diplomat, have a child on U.S. soil, and have that child claim American citizenship. That is not allowed. But what is allowed, if he ended his citizenship in Yemen and stayed in the United States and became a citizen of the United States, which he did, but in that time, if she was born after that, she becomes a citizen. Now, this is a big deal because there's a question about when he stopped being a diplomat and when she was born. There's about a 1-month window there that no one's quite sure about. So she may or may not be an American citizen, but she did, in fact, grow up in the United States. And when she was 19, she decided that she used the money that she was going to go to college with, and she decided that she wanted to go over to the Middle East and fight with ISIS and kill Americans. And she had a Twitter page, and she recommended and she tried to recruit American citizens to come over to fight with ISIS or to commit acts of murder here in the United States. That's a fact. These are not questions. These are absolute facts that this is what she did. And so and that was 4 years ago. 4 years ago, 2015, that this happened, that she left her family, left everyone. Her family tried to get her back. She absolutely refused, tricked her family into giving her in 2016 $2,500 so that she could give it to ISIS so they could better help to fight against America and kill American soldiers. That's the story. This is the next person, I believe, that the left, the progressives and liberals, will be touting as a hero. That this is the next person. They're going to be coming to you and saying you should be emotionally invested and support this woman in her plight against Donald Trump. This is the person. And the reason why I'm having this conversation is so that we can all know who exactly they're talking about, because odds are they're not going to go over all these details. And already they have not been. So again, this news started coming out on the 19th. And the reason why it came out 2 days ago on February 19th is because we got to see that President Trump said that he will not readmit the Alabama woman who joined ISIS. Muthana is a 24-year-old Alabama woman with a desperate plea to U.S. officials earlier this week to be allowed to return home. That's right, she wants to come back home. Now that ISIS is being beaten around the world, and especially in the Middle East, now that her husband has died because while fighting for ISIS, killed by U.S. troops, while this is happening, she has now decided, after she has been caught by U.S.-friendly Kurdish forces, and she is in a prison camp with other ISIS prisoners, she now wants to come home to America. Is that something you would have sympathy for? I don't. I do not have sympathy for this. Now, I want to be very clear about this. We don't know if she's an American citizen. And that's a very, very big deal. That's a very important part of this. But let me first start with, why are the left, why do I believe that progressives and the left, the liberals, Citizen Action, Antifa, political leaders of tomorrow, why are they all going to rally around this woman? And why are they going to promote her as someone that you should care about and that you should have sympathy for and hate Donald Trump for and hate Republicans for? And that answer is probably going to be best done. You've seen this video clip. If you've seen my videos before, you'll probably have seen this before, but here it is.
My real objection is that I don't think political correctness works. I want to get to the Golden Hill, but I don't think that's the way to get there. I believe one of the greatest human failings is to prefer to be right than to be effective. And political correctness is always obsessed with how right it is without thinking of how effective it might be. I wouldn't class myself as...
So, oh, there it is. So that's the big thing. The left, the far left, all of the left, the liberal progressive movement wants to always be right. Doesn't matter what the issue is. If look at what we're seeing in Twitter, see the reaction to Smollett right now. Well, somewhere in the United States, someone is being treated badly by someone who's a supporter of President Trump. Somebody who supports Make America Great is being rude or mean or evil towards people of color or women or both, people who are straight or gay or transgendered. And because that's happening somewhere in the nation, well, then Mr. Smollett is, well, he's justified in committing the biggest hoax since Tawana Broadley, and which happened in my lifetime. I was alive when that happened. National news. This, not as much. The outrage, not as much. So we have to say, what are they doing? They're looking for some way to justify all this. And when they can't, now that he's being arrested, he's going to be tried for a felony crime because he has deceived everyone and they've been embarrassed. They need to move on to a story that they can really tell, something they're a little more sure of that can still get that same punch. And as I said, the start of that is that they're saying that they're taking this on. And look, they're saying it's a woman who, now, the fair answer is she's a woman who was living in Alabama. She left in 2015 and joined ISIS. And now, because ISIS is being defeated and her ISIS husband is dead, and she does have a child from that man or someone in ISIS, she now wants to come back to the United States. Well, that's going to be the thing. How horrible is it that we're not allowing her to come back? Now, I want you to get a really good idea of who this woman is, okay? You can go over to counterextremism.com, which is part of the Counter Extremist program, and that is a nonprofit NGO, and they're out there and they list extremists so that we can root them out in whether they're over the internet or at the border or trying to get on planes, to help people identify extremist members, which she is identified clearly and correctly as a member of ISIS. She has many names that she goes by. She's used Twitter under several different names. And she is a foreign fighter. She is into jihad. That is what she went over 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. She went over to fight against America, and she has actively sought to kill American citizens. That's who we're talking about, okay? So I want to make sure everyone's very clear on this, that that's the one we're talking about. And what we're going to see is that already, that we're already seeing the media is saying that, hey, you know, you gotta support her. How can we do that? I'll give you a great example. Looking at Brookings, the Brookings Institute, which is a left-wing think tank, they're already saying that the decision by President Trump and the Department of Justice to not allow her to come back home, well, that's the wrong decision. It's a bad idea. And they have some reason for that case, but I disagree with it. And I think it's not really being accurate or fair. And I want you to understand, she's saying that, oh, well, I just want to come back to America and you can try me and put me into jail. And the thing is that, oops, sorry about that. She wants to say that, hey, you know, I'm going to go to jail. I want to go to jail. I want to be tried. Well, you can't be. She gave, if she's not a United States citizen, which is in question and is not clear, and the United States government under President Trump is saying she's not a citizen, well, then she has no right to come into the United States. She doesn't get to come back here. That's just a fact. And she gets to stay out, and she has to deal with being in a Kurdish prison. But if she is an American citizen, then yes, she does have a right to come back home. And she's saying, well, she is, and she wants to come back home, and she doesn't mind being tried. Now, you might say to yourself, well, wait a minute. Why does she think that, why would it be good? Isn't she concerned about going, because it's treason? There is no question. She has tried to kill American citizens. So why would you want to come back to America and be tried under treason? I mean, that's crazy, right? Well, not really. Because according to New York Post, she believes, as does her lawyer, that not only is she an American citizen, which is in question, but that few people resent ISIS as much as she does. She is now so upset about having been with ISIS for the last 4 years plus that she wants to come home because she regrets this. And I believe the line is, and I want to be sure I have it right here because I want to read it perfectly. There it is. Her lawyer, named Shibli, insisted, I don't think anybody in America, there's very few people in America who resent ISIS as much as she does. That's right, as much as Hoda Muthana. Very few people. Okay, well, let's take a look at what does that mean, very few people. ISIS targeted, and I think most people have forgotten about this or weren't aware of it, there were 8,786 people targeted by ISIS to be killed. There are, I don't know how many people who have been killed by ISIS. Americans have been killed by ISIS for many, many years. They target us specifically here in the United States and overseas. They've attacked us with cars, with bombs, with knives, with guns in the United States as well as overseas. The San Bernardino shooting in California, that was 2015, were by members who aligned with ISIS. Okay, we had a man in 2017 in New York City who drove his car over at the World Trade Center, killing people because, I believe he killed some people, trying to kill people because he's a member of ISIS. This is what Hoda Muthana has supported. And she wants to say that now that she has been caught and she is now in a prison, that, you know, she resents and she is so sorry about ISIS, an organization she supported, tried to convince other Americans to support, to kill American citizens. I'm really not looking forward to this. I'm really happy with her staying in a Kurdish prison. I really, really am. But I have to say, there is a question here. You know, does she deserve to be able to come back to the United States? This is what, and the Brookings makes a good argument that, you know, if she is an American citizen, and she says she is, but if she is an American citizen, we can't stop her. You know, the president can't just say, well, you can't come back, you gave up your citizenship. Even though she burned her passport, even though she verbally renounced her citizenship in both videos, she announced it on Twitter. She did send out pictures saying she's burning her passport and that she's never coming back and she hates America. Even though she's done all that, that's not officially renouncing your citizenship because ISIS is not a country. It's a terrorist organization. So she didn't, if she did have an American citizenship, then it's not quite clear that she can give it up. So we have to ask the question, what happens if she comes back to America? What happens? Or is she still an American citizen? And the question really comes down to this. This is the legal law, of course. Illegal information, it is USC Code, United States Code, Title 8, and it's Section 1481. And under that, that deals with American citizens losing their citizenship. And the case in point is number 7, item 7, so it's A7. And in there it says, any person committing any act of treason against or attempting to force to overthrow or bear arms against the United States, if and when is convicted thereof by a court-martial or a court of competent jurisdiction, that they will lose their citizenship, that this person will relinquish their United States nationality voluntarily. They gave it up. And we know that she has committed acts of treason and attempted by force to overthrow the United States and to bear arms against the United States. That is not a question. So if she does come back to the United States, she gets to go to jail. But I guarantee you, and I'll start wrapping this up in just a moment here, but I guarantee you that what you're going to start seeing, yep, there it is, just on time, I'm going to be finishing up. What I guarantee is you're going to see, and we have already started to see, that the far left is out there saying that President Trump is wrong, is evil to keep a mother and her child away from America. That Donald Trump, the evil president of the United States, is keeping a United States citizen out of the country, that he has somehow done something wrong. Well, I don't think so. First of all, because we don't know that this is a United States citizen. And because of that, until we can be sure, she can stay in the ISIS prison camp that she has been put into because she is a terrorist. By her own actions, by her own words, and by her own admission. And the fact that she is now contrite after being caught is not something that's going to make me feel any better for her. But maybe I'm wrong. If she is a United States citizen, I believe, and I think it's very important that we have a very clear idea that this isn't some misguided child. She knew what she was doing. She was very clear on what she was trying to do and what she did do. And that she is not some waif running along in the hills, innocent. She is not naive. And she was not naive in her actions. And as we hear the left put out the emotional strings of this mother separated from her nation, a mother and a child alone in a foreign land by her own choice for the purpose of killing the very people she is asking to take her back. Do not forget that as the left goes out there looking for their next champion, their next victim. This is probably the victim of choice, a mother and her child alone in a foreign country. And they will try their very best to convince you that the fact that she was a member of ISIS, that she actively tried to kill American citizens, both by raising funds and helping to promote it, to promote people being killed. An organization that's targeted 8,000 American citizens to be killed because they exist, regardless of their political party and affiliation. Do not forget this. If she's an American citizen, should she come home? Absolutely. And immediately arrest her, throw her in jail, try her for treason, and throw away the key. Yes. Yes, I believe that entirely. If she is not an American citizen, as is the current belief, and it cannot be proven that she is otherwise, then no, she can sit in a prison in Kurdistan and rot. Or Kurdish, the Kurdish portion of Iran. Let me correct that. She can sit there and rot. She made a choice. Choices have consequences. Even in the world of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Democratic Socialists, decisions have consequences, and her consequence should be sitting in a jail for the rest of her life. But if you think I'm wrong, if I'm too harsh, you know what? Let me know. I look forward to hearing your thoughts about this as we see what happens next. I thank you for the time today. As always, I appreciate and thank you for being involved, for listening in, and giving me your opinion. And I look forward to talking to you all again very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.